all people to be in a better position in life. So what I'm going to do is pass it over to Karen, and then we'll pass it over to YahNe and then Billy.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chamberlain. I am the Deputy Campaign Director for DC to DNC. And just a little bit of background about it. A little bit of a background. Ed Higgins is the founder and the campaign director for DC to DNC. He started out with the dream of the one man taking a walk for Bernie Sanders. And this was his dream, that this is what he wanted to do. As his passion grew and he started to get everything out on social media, people came together and had the same dream and the same passion for Senator Sanders. And as we all came together and found out really what was going on with our democracy, we, as Bruce Carter has mentioned, didn't like what we were seeing. The more we get involved, we like it less. So our march that we are putting together, and we're putting it together with several groups, the DC to DNC part of it is going to almost be like Democracy Spring and Awakening, doing an opposite march. We're going to be starting off in DC on July 15th, competing with the elements. We're going to be starting on July 15th with a kickoff rally that starts at 9 o'clock. Everyone's going to register. This is a peaceful march, and we'd like to get that across to everyone because we've heard some stuff in the media that Bernie keeps law violent. That is not true. We are one of the most peaceful people that are spreading love around that I know. We have been very patient with this process, and we are formulating this march to bring peace throughout this march onto the DNC, to let them know that there are many voices out there that are not happy with certain candidates that they have chosen for us, that they think for us that we should be happy with. So we want our voices to count, everyone's voice to count, where unfortunately they weren't counted in many states. So that's what this march is about. It's going to be from July 15th, 10-day march, to July 24th. We're going to start at 9 o'clock for registration. Every marcher will be required to sign a peaceful commitment letter that they will be marching for peace. Along the way, we're going to be stopping at 9 stops. And on those stops, there's going to be a little bit of entertainment and some fun stuff to do. And we're working on right now, with the logistics of it, something historical where on the 10th day, we're going to wake up on the 10th day, and we're going to have our Let Freedom Ring March, where we plan on having maybe 1 million bells with all these groups coming together, peacefully ringing as we approach the DNC to wake up the nation, to hear our voices about the corruption that is going on in our country, to hear how our voices are not being heard, and maybe someone will wake up and finally hear that. And at that point, we will remain there for the remainder of the 4 days at the DNC, and hopefully somebody will wake up and hear our voices. But all of this will be peaceful. We also plan on doing it from the last day, walking from FDR Park on the 9th day to Liberty Bell on the 10th, and we're hopefully want to form a human peace sign as we do so. So please check out our website, DC to DNC. We have a live website. We're also taking donations. We have packages that will be coming online for the march. We're checking into rally buses from each state, checking into lodging. This has grown to be a big event, and we plan on hopefully having the voices heard and successful. Thank you.
Woo!
Oh, the MC. Hey! Now, for you all that don't know, this is YahNe, Ndgo, Yaya, all of that. She was fortunate enough, I got an email from CNN, which they probably won't do that to me again, and said they wanted someone from Pennsylvania to represent Berners. So I had met YahNe, and hadn't known her that long, but through the process, she was very articulate and deliberate in what she did for us. So I thought she would be the best candidate. That went over very well, I guess that's what it is. So well that they invited her back to see if it was a mistake. That went over even better. And so what I did is I learned from them. And as I said, I'm so young in this process, but the the stuff I didn't know, probably would have ever known if I sat back in Dallas in my office working and doing what I do about trade deals, about people's minimum wages outside of the country, which really it's none of our business to make it light. And that made me dig deeper. Then when the bad behavior took place in Philadelphia, that made me dig deeper. When the bad behavior took place in Nevada, that made me dig deeper. And so that's what's happening with people. Bad behavior makes people dig in deeper, and some people, they react different. So I want Yahya, I'm sorry, that's what I call every day, I can't get that. I want her to express, the purpose of Bernie a bus, why she feels that way. And then, so you all know, we're getting ready to journey to California. We have seats in the van. If you want to go in the Black Man for Bernie van, we can talk about it. We're going to be with Rosario Dawson, Ben Jealous, and Ben and Jerry's, and we're just going to have fun on the West Coast.
All right. Hey, how are you?
Good.
So, yes, there's so much, of course, to talk about. As Bruce explained, the CNN interviews happened, and as a result, I was asked to be the spokesperson for Bernie or Bust. And there are a couple of things that I want to say. One thing I was thinking about when Bruce was just speaking here is one of the reasons that those CNN interviews were successful is because I was very focused, and I was focused on the point. The point was to communicate with the people in this national moment what it is that people have not been able to hear. That I was able to talk to people about issues that the media has predominantly been ignoring, and and the result of that was that a lot of people who heard it, I get a lot of messages from people who are saying things like, I had no idea about Honduras. I did research as a result of you speaking about that, and then I learned about this other thing. I learned about Rwanda, or I learned, that was really the point. Like, people have constantly come to me and they say, how did you maintain your cool when you were in that situation? And I maintained my cool because I was speaking to us. I wasn't even really speaking to the two women who were in that interview with me. They were not the point. And when we come here and we come together, we have to remember similarly that we have a focus, we have a goal, we have a point. And that point is all of us coming together, making our voices heard, and having an impact on this democratic process, making transformation real. And so if we remember that, then whatever else happens, we won't have to get overrun by our anger and lose control of ourselves. We'll be able to continue to stay strategic and to come together and figure out what our next steps are in a way that's going to be productive and that's going to constantly be moving our goals forward. And I think that's one of the important things, one of the important aspects of us coming here together today, because people are concerned when there are going to be so many people that are coming together during the dates of the DNC. And so many of those people are extremely unhappy and disappointed with the process. I mean, I was in Portland when Nevada happened, and I cried that night. I cried for such a long time, and I was online with all these other people who were crying too, because we know that the system is not fair, we know that it's not just, but to sit and witness it in that way at that moment, and to be doing that together, for them to be so blatant, was extraordinarily painful. And and it makes you feel like, what are you going to do? And it makes you feel like, how do we possibly win participating in a system that is not functioning fairly? But we do have to pull ourselves together. And the next morning I got myself up and I went and I phone banked and in the office, and I continued to move the thing, continue to stay in a moment of productivity and return to productivity. So we're going to get emotional. That's going to happen. We already know that there's likely to be a lot of craziness, and there's still possibly going to be a lot of unfairness happening all the way through to the end of the DNC. We have to use this time, though. We're going to be together in one place. There are going to be potentially millions of us together in one place. Millions of people who are dedicated and committed to the transformation of our democratic process. And so we need to make sure that we use that time as effectively as possible and as productively as possible. Use our time together to move things forward, no matter what they do, because it's not about them. It's about all of us. bust is a position. Ultimately, that says we love Bernie because Bernie stands for the principles that are important to us, and Bernie is here for all of us. And it also says that we do not and we will not stand with and support any candidate that is not for us, or that even more so is against us. And that is how we see Donald Trump, and that is also how we see Hillary Clinton. So Bernie or bust is a way of us letting people know in advance. Don't in November and December be sitting around saying, oh my goodness, if I had known, we may have done things differently. Because we're telling you right now, we will not vote for Hillary Clinton. She does not stand for the people. She does not stand with the people. She is against the people. And so we will not reward her tyranny with our vote. And we want that to be very clear. And we want that to be clear before the DNC happens so that they can make the right decision. Now we have a campaign that we're moving forward called Go Green 619. And the idea of the Go Green 619 campaign is that we want people starting on June 19th, assuming that they do not have any down ballot candidates that they have to vote for, and that they don't have a role in the DNC, like they're not a delegate. Anybody who fits into that category, we want people to start changing their voter registration. And we're asking people to change it to the Green Party. And this is not about the Green Party. The Green Party is a party that is aligned with the principles of the progressive movement. And, you know, there are other there are other good parties as well. But the Green Party is the party that is best set up for us to be able to move forward successfully and potentially have a presidential run through that party. So we're asking people to be a unified voice. And this is a way that we can say to each other, the votes didn't happen properly. We know that votes weren't properly counted, right? So this is an opportunity for us to recast our vote in a way to say, because they can't tamper with our voter registration the way they can tamper with our vote. So if we come together in large numbers, we can then show how we really feel about this candidacy and about the primary process, and hopefully give that extra push along with the march, along with our rallies, to help the DNC realize that they really, if they want to win, if the Democratic Party wants to win the election, they need Bernie Sanders to be their candidate. If they still, in spite of our loud and resounding and determined voices, still do not put Bernie in that seat and make him the nominee, then our large numbers in the Green Party would be able to say to Bernie, don't you stop running. I heard what you said about staying with the party. Don't stop running. You have to be on the ballot all the way through November. We have to be able to have the opportunity to cast our vote for Bernie Sanders for the presidency. So hopefully he will change his position around not running further and respond to our voices if we have all moved to the Green Party and then accept the Green Party's invitation to run as a Green Party candidate. And if he doesn't, we will still be in position to bring a third party into the presidential race and potentially to have a third party candidate in the White House. And that supports all of the other non-establishment parties. That supports the Libertarian Party. That supports the Working Families Party. Because once you break up this two-party system, then all the other parties begin to have place and relevance. So no matter what, this Go Green in June 19 is still about us pulling our voices together to transform the process. So that is our strategy, and the reason why we're here is it relates to the Bernie or Bust movement. So that's, I think, enough.
Woo!
Pass it back to Grace.
Fun or you just cold? I don't know which one it is. All right. It makes you cry. So here's the thing I want to say about the whole Bernie piece. And if you're listening and you just don't get this, look around. You see all nationalities. You see different sexes. You see my man with the grills and the tattoos. You see the young lady here. And you see my John. And so what you see are Americans able to come together. And I think that is the key that we're missing. So that's the message we need to put out to everyone. Now, having said that, I met this exciting guy. I would think he was from the 1960s. The more I'm around him, he's really a revolutionary guy. Nice words. But I've had the pleasure of working with Billy, going into some meetings. But the one thing he does is work. He works, he works, he works. He fights, he fights, he fights. And he understands that I'm the nice guy. In every corner, he's a guy saying, you can't trust it, you can't trust it, you can't trust it, you can't trust it. He brings the attorneys, you can't trust it, you can't trust it. But the great thing about it is you're able to find that there are people that believe that there's an issue, and they will come together and fight for the greater good of all. And that's why I love where we are. I love the position of where Bernie is, because it's not about Bernie saying, I have to be the president. It's supposed to be my job. I'm entitled to it. His deal is collectively, we need to come together and have total representation. So having said that, how you doing, sir? Like that hat. Having said that, I'm going to pass it over to Billy. Billy can tell you a lot about what we're doing that entire week because he owns all the committees.
All right, my name is Bill Taylor. I consider myself a Berner as well as a member of the movement for Bernie. The first thing that I really want to start out with, especially after Nevada, the morale's real low. Bernie supporters, they're peace-loving hippies, and we want to keep that energy going. We're being broken down and belittled by a corrupt system. This is not what we're trying to put out. Bernie bros, anybody trying to create violence during July, we don't want you. We're here to say that there is no better place to show your Bernie love than in the city of brotherly love.
Woo!
We do have an agenda put forth. We have a petition to denounce the DNC. We have a list of demands to counter the voter suppression and election fraud that has happened across the United States. And if they do not meet our demands, we will deregister. Now, they have proven to us that our vote does not matter. They figured out a way to suppress our vote, to corrupt our vote. But what does matter is our voter registration. The Democratic Party only has power in the amount of members that they hold. With this being said, Bernie and Hillary are neck to neck. Without all the corruption, Bernie is winning. Right now, we have the possibility of taking over 50% of the Democratic Party. We take their power and give it back to the people. So regardless of what you hear on mainstream media, or the trolls, or any negativity going on, just know this: when it comes to Philadelphia in July, we promise to give you a political revolution and give that hope back to the people. There is no reason for the violence. We must rise above. If you come here with negative intentions, you are giving them what they want. You are giving them a reason to suppress us. Do not come here with the negativity. We will rise above, and we will have a political revolution that Bernie has preached about this entire race. But it is going to take we the people to stand together and stand united to achieve this. As far as the DNC in July, there are a number of events that are happening. With the Bernie organizations, there's an event happening every day from the 24th to the 28th. On Monday is a unity march. There's a march that'll happen in every state throughout the United States. Multiple marches in some states. That will happen at 12 noon on the 24th. So America, not only Philly, but America will be feeling the burn come July. On the 25th, there is another rally held down at the Liberty Bell. It starts at 12 noon. That's a march against the DNC that we're going to march down to the Wells Fargo Center. On the 27th, you have the Burn Your Bus movement hosting the march directly across the street at 1401 JFK. On the 27th and 28th, you have Black Men for Bernie hosting their rallies again across the street at 1401 JFK.
Woo!
I just want to reiterate that Bernie Sanders, the progressive movement, Bernie or Bust, all of this is founded in love. It really is. I mean, even when we get upset and even when we're getting passionate, it really is because we care so much about each other. It's because we care about what happens to people across the world, and it bothers us when what we do negatively impacts the lives of hundreds, thousands, millions of other people. But ultimately, it is founded in love, and that is what we have to remember. Love is the most powerful voice, the most powerful force in the world. And so if we stand in that power of love, we are going to win, no matter what it looks like is happening. we are going to win. We just have to always touch base with and stand in love.
How you doing, man? Why you not smiling?
Huh?
Why you not smiling? Why you not smiling? That's a smile? Oh, man, you walked in, you know, we want you to smile. We know you're friendly if you smile.
Yeah, no problem.
I just wanted to add one thing. Mr. Bruce Carter here, love this man. He's wonderful. He's such a good motivational speaker. He's a fantastic marketing person, and just how he's putting his own company together with his own funds, with the love that he found in this man. And he's met, and I'm just the president of this place. He's met our future president, several times. So had and the passion and the love that you can see with them embracing each other says it all. But what I want to mention about Mr. Carter also is that he has also, we have asked him to be the DNC logistics director, and he has agreed to do so. So he will be handling the events and logistics from DC and also in here in Philly. So we thank you very much that we have his support in that as well, while he has his own thing going on with Black Enterprise. So thank you.
All right, I don't know, are there any questions, comments, or suggestions?
How's he gonna pay for the free education?
How?
Yeah.
Pay for less wars, let the people pay a little more tax.
Transferring money from the guys.
Tax on Wall Street transactions, speculation.
That covers the education.
That's gonna pay for the education.
Yes, sir, let me ask you this. Here's what I like to do. I'm a practical guy because I'm not a politician. Now, I've only known Bernie for 70 days. So I'm neutral. I didn't vote in Texas for nobody. So I can get to say this. We already have education from 1st to the 12th grade. So we're really only talking about 4 more years. So that means if we do K through 12 and we don't pay for it unless we choose to pay for it, you already have these state institutions. They're already teaching people. So how much more does it really cost to utilize what we already have? Sir? Well, the thing is this, and here's the great thing about it. I can want a million things. Some things you have power for, but it's just like this. It's more than just getting Bernie elected. It's about getting other people that care about people elected, so you can have people to work together.
So it has to be a combination.
It has to be a combination.
It can't be Bernie.
Yes, sir.
saying, "I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
Bernie's not a
this,
savior.
I'm good at this."
It's a combination.
So that's just-
Yes, sir. That's right. So it's about getting people to work together. So let me ask you this here. Let me ask you this. If you had a choice, you tell me. You have loved ones. You have nieces, nephews, cousins, and all those kind of people. Would you rather them make $10 an hour or $15 an hour for the same work? Which one?
15.
Okay, so it'd be 15. Would you prefer that if a person went to high school, they got the grades, and they had a true desire to go to school, and they wanted to go to school? So, what would you prefer? The opportunity?
I want to untax some, I want free ed.
Okay.
But everything depends on other people being elected
Exactly.
in position.
Exactly.
Now, if other people are not elected,
We have the same mess we had for the last 6 years.
with Bernie,
With Bernie, anybody? Yes, sir.
there you go.
All right. All right. So where are you going? Did you vote? Did you vote in the primaries? Okay, great. So here's what we want you to do. Come join us during the DNC. Hang out, and let's just keep having fun. All right, great.
We also are restructuring, because we know it's important to get people in the Senate and in Congress, and we are restructuring.
But I always tell people the second half of it.
And there's also this
The second
brand
half
new
of
Congress.
all these
They're-
things that you want
But,
to give.
but if I
Tell them what it takes to do that.
But if I may
and
just-
what it's going to take to do that.
Yes, sir.
And without that,
Right.
you won't get nothing.
That's
You said
all being
Bernie.
organized.
And
That's
that's
all being
exactly
organized.
what Bernie says every time
So-
he speaks. It's not about him.
It's okay. I'm with you.
Women-
So I'll say this, and I'll be done with it. Here's a question: if you ask for $15 and you get 13 because you compromise, that's possible. But if you start at 12, then you're only going to get 10.
So if you ask for free education,
You may pay a little bit.
Get a year.
That's better than what you get now.
There you go.
There you go.
Now tell everybody that.
But
about
what you should know is
my
that
sister.
20 years
And
ago,
then go tell
college
them
was
you're
free.
going to free education.
But I think.
20 years
The
ago,
whole
college was
thing.
free. City colleges were free 20
Hold on,
years
but
ago.
let me
We
ask you
start
this.
high, and we
There you go.
negotiate if we have
No, it's not.
Congress that's
I have a choice to go to.
And then we'll negotiate down to what we can get.
Right, so it's about this. And I'm going to go to somebody. Here's the key right here. The key is this. The key is this. If you don't have something to set a high standard, then you're already at the bottom. And so when you look past the free deal, I guess my question is this. When do we question the bad behavior? So at some point, I'd rather have somebody with high morals, high integrity, good character, and a belief for everybody than to have a group that looks to the side for certain people. So I would focus more on that, believing that great things could happen, than just the word of free college. Because what's happening is so little you can come at Bernie about being the man he is. So we find this thing about free college, which really bothers me when there's so many other issues with all the other candidates that I would think, okay, he might not get free college, but at least I don't have to worry about a lie today. I don't have to worry about a change tomorrow, because he's been the same for 50 years. I would focus on that being halfway intelligent, but people tend to find this other stuff that really is so irrelevant to the character of the person. So if you get the bad person in there, you're not going very far anyway.
Why is it so radical? He said it's speculation all day. He said it ain't that radical. They do it another place. They got it in
Okay, so
Just really quickly, I just want to piggyback on what Bruce is saying. It's not, right now, we don't have to focus on, a presidential candidate is not a president, right? But once you become president, you are surrounded by, you have access to all of the greatest minds, especially President of the United States. You have access to all of the greatest minds in the country that can help you to bring your intentions to fruition. But if you don't have intentions that are beneficial to us, then that is not a resource that we want for you. We don't want you to have the best minds helping you to come up with things that are not in our best interest. The thing about Bernie Sanders is that he, at least at this moment, wants to, whether everything he wants to get accomplished is accomplished or not, he wants to make these things happen for us in a way that nobody else is even interested in. Why would you want to bring somebody into office who doesn't care at all about whether or not you get an education? Why would you even want somebody in office who doesn't care if you can pay your bills at the end of the day? I mean, at least Bernie cares about these things. At least he has every intention to do his best to bring them out for us. No one else is going to do that. So he has to be our president. And I will be fighting every day until November to make sure that whoever is in that office is somebody who cares about all of us.
Woo!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Gabriella, you recognize me.
Yeah.
Good to meet you in person.
Yeah, I saw you come walking over.
The only reason I knew about it is because you posted it on Facebook.
Right, well, I'm glad. Yeah, like, I didn't even know about it until about 10 o'clock this morning. Yeah.
I'm aware of almost one
At first I was confused.
I know. Somebody said Love Park. They did the same thing, and then I saw the statue.
I'm concerned about any particular candidate that's going to be concerned about the veterans.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he's the man for that. Yeah.
Money enough to sustain himself. Every president comes along, he says, I'm going to take care of veterans. Okay, we got some of us off the street.
The head of the
but
committee.
You didn't really take care of business the way you're supposed to. We are living at substandard.
Some people know
We
that,
are
but
not
then
making
fail to
it.
realize that Republicans don't want to fund
I
him.
got shot twice in my ass in Vietnam. You understand? They had to take time to take the bullets out. You understand? The metal still is in my body. I'm saying to you that it's time that they take real consideration for the veterans of the United States. There's a lot of people out here that are waiting for living on substandard levels and not making it. I'm concerned about the wage. I want them to make it. I want them to live because everything's costing more. And you're telling you you make do with what you got. We can't make do. Every year comes around and it's more cost, but you give us nothing. We're becoming a third world country in America. And I'm totally pissed about it.
Sounds like you want Bernie.
So based on what you just said, the candidate that meets your needs would be Bernie. So at the end of the day, it's like, it makes sense. It doesn't matter if I don't have food in my refrigerator, or I can't pay a light bill, or I work 40 hours and I still can't meet the needs, so I have to take a second job. Then you say I'm a bad parent because I'm not at home, because I'm trying to make the hours make sense. So at the end of the day, everything you just said says that Bernie's your candidate. So all of us, I propose, are for Bernie. That's why we're here. Maybe some people are passing by. But at some point, we have to get into our communities, and we have to make sure that people who may have voted the other way, that they understand and they become a part of what we're doing, so they can express, I know more. So it's the education process from here all the way to the DNC that's important for people that don't know. And I think after Yahya left, my man left because he was starting to get converted, because he started knowing more. So having said that, let's stay in the fight. Let's stay positive. Let's encourage those that are out here. You know, let's send stuff out on Facebook or social media that tells Bernie, look, we're growing, we got you. Because at the end of the day, he, at 74, this is the stuff people like to talk about. At 74, I was with him Monday in Atlantic City at a rally. I looked up at 8 o'clock. He's in Sacramento, California. Right, so it's like, you know, and the thing is, when I was in Michigan, he was in Flint, I was in Flint. When I got the schedule, he did 7 cities. When I got to the University of Michigan and met him downstairs in the back doors, he came running in like this. So at some point, he's making the ultimate sacrifice. And as I tell you, regardless of what everybody says, when you cannot come at a man about his past, meaning whatever he did, he lived a life good enough that you can't shoot at it. That speaks to who he is.
That's what has been scared to
And so we have to get out here and talk and talk and talk. But more than anything, let's get ready for a great July in Philadelphia. Let's figure out how we can make it greater. And if you're a resident, I tell people, you have a great chance to have a financial reward for the stuff you don't have. Figure out how you can be a part of this process and it makes sense. Other than that, are there any more questions, comments, or suggestions? I don't even have one with me. They're on their way to California. I'm sorry. Other than that, do we have anything else? Anything else? Anything else? All right.
Thank you much.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
We're all upset.
Yeah.